Peace was good. Welcome to part 3 of my CD collection. Thank you for all the responses so far. You guys inspired me to do more. I know I look like a fucking big ass red Kool-Aid drink, but you know, fuck it. That's not what it's all about. It's about these CDs here. I got a lot more. And yes, I do have other genres, so I'll show that in the video as well. But I'm just giving you guys a box at a time because I got that much CDs. Without further ado, here comes the first album. I play some tunes them in the background. Alright, I left off on Venevede Vici, which I did last night. Like I said, dope album. Alright, next album, Eazy, straight off the streets of motherfucking Compton. That's what it says, but it's blocked out for obvious reasons. As you can see right here, straight off the streets of motherfucking Compton. This was released in 1995. This is the last album that he did while he was alive. Overall, very dope album, very dark, gritty. Supposedly this was supposed to be a double disc album, but obviously he couldn't finish it because, you know, he was sick with AIDS, you know, and he left this earth back in 1995. Unfortunately, very dope album. A lot of people, I don't really see too many people talk about this album, but I really like it a lot. You got songs like Old School Shit, featuring BG Noxta and Dresta. BG Naka and Dresta. Another dope West Coast duo who was under Eazy-E. Very underrated. You don't really see too many people talking about them, but Nuts on Your Chin, very dope. Hit the Hooker. Naughty by Nature produced song Creep and Crawl. What Would You Do? I think What Would You Do is you know, it's kind of like a diss towards Death Row and shit like that. Very dark. It was a very dark feel to the album. Overall, definitely recommend checking this album out if you can find it. You know what I mean? Very dope. God damn it. My bad, people. And we got QB's Finest, released in 2001. Is it 2001? No, 2000. Excuse me. Yeah, very dope album. To me, you know, you see all these QB artists in their prime, you know what I mean? I mean, you still got some cats that's still in their prime, but I don't know, man. Something about QB hip-hop, you know, Queensbridge Hip-Hop back in the 90s and early 2000s. It just had that street vibe that I miss, you know what I mean? Like, Queens, you know, Brooklyn and all that, but even though QB is part of Queens, but you know, QB is his own entity, his own world. It's set. They're definitely trendsetters when it comes to like sound and shit like that. They just have like a certain sound that a lot of people try to duplicate, but you know, it doesn't really sound well. Or I would say sound well, but try to emulate, try to pay homage to QB sound. Like, you know, cats like Marley Marl, Havoc from Mobb Deep, DJ Hot Day, LES, you know, people like that. Marley Marl, like I said before. Very dope album. Definitely recommend it. You know, you got songs like Uchiwali, which was on this album. The Bridge 2001, dope song. Like I said, Uchiwali, Street Glory, you know, mad songs. Self-Conscious, very dope album. I definitely recommend checking this album out for all my QB heads. And we got Snoop Dogg's first album, Doggystyle, released in 1993. I mean, not much to say. Classic album. Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg in their prime, in my opinion. Dr. Dre was dope back in the 90s, man. That's a Dr. Dre I like, you know. Dr. Dre now, I'm not really feeling, like, you know, I don't really like Dr. Dre right now. His beats are kind of mediocre, in my opinion. Yeah, man, I just wish him and Ice Cube put out that album, Helter Skelter. That would have been dope, but, you know, it is what it is. Then we got Ice Cube's Speak of the Title, Speak of the Devil, America's Most Wanted, released in 1990. Definitely a classic album, a must-have for every hip-hop head. Even if you don't like Ice Cube, you must have it. You know, you got songs like Who's the Mac, Once Upon a Time in the Projects. I mean, classic songs, you know. And this is the reissued version. This is 2003 re-release version, where it comes with the Kill I Will EP, which is pretty cool. I saw this in stores, but I never bothered picking it up. But you know, I might pick it up for nostalgia purposes. But I already have the album. I already have this in one CD, so makes no sense. But whatever. Very dope. If you're a fan of, Ice Cube, obviously. If you're a fan of Bomb Squad, then you'll definitely enjoy this album. Because they did all the beats on the album, and very dope album. Very Ice Cube in his prime, in my opinion. This is Ice Cube when he was angry as fuck, and that's the Ice Cube I like. And I want him to get back into that mode, you know what I mean? That angry, political Ice Cube. And, like, just, I don't know, get back with Sir Jinx or some shit. Get back with, like, DJ Muggs. Like, him and DJ Muggs need to put out an album. That shit would be so fucking dope. But, Ice Cube, he's so busy making movies and all that. So, I doubt he'll do that shit. But, it is what it is. Alright. Then we got Ultramagnetic MCs. The Four Horsemen, released in 1993. Definitely, in my opinion, their best album. Yeah, I like Critical Beatdown, dope album too, but this album speaks volumes for me. Very dark. I know, I keep saying dog, but I like dog shit. What can I say? But very dope album. In fact, this album actually introduced Godfather Don to the world. You know what I mean? Because yeah, Godfather Don put out Hazardous back in '91, but a lot of people didn't even know who he was until the single they put out called Raise It Up off this album. And what's interesting about this album is S.D.E himself. His voice is gotten deep for some reason. I like it. I have no problem, but a lot of people said the same thing. So I think it kind of gives the album of a certain vibe. It just, his voice fits the vibe of the album, you know what I mean? You got songs like Raise It Up, Two Bullets with Checks, Saga of Dandy and Devil in the Day, which talks about talking about the Negro Baseball League, the Black Baseball League and stuff like that. Pretty dope, very ahead of his time. See the Man in the Street, love that song. Time to Catch a Body. You can never go wrong with this album. Very dope. If you can find it, pick it up. Very dope. Then we got this album, Natas, Do You Believe in God, released in 1995. This is highly sought after. For all my horrorcore heads, you guys know what time it is with this album. Very, very dark. My opinion, I think it's the darkest album in hip-hop history. I haven't heard any other album that come close to it, in my opinion. Some real devious shit in this album. Talk about, fucking... Put it like this. Do not listen to this album in the dark by yourself. That's how serious this album is. The first song I ever heard of this album was a song called Scream, and it made me want to go look for this album. And I actually got this album in New York when I used to live there at FYE in Green Acres Mall. I found it for like $1 straight up, and for now, like nowadays, it goes for a pretty penny. I've seen it as much as $100 on Amazon and eBay and shit like that. So, if you're really serious about getting this album, go call for that money. Me personally, I wouldn't do that, but definitely highly sought after. Love the album. Could listen to the album all day. Well, not all day, but you know what I mean. Then we got Cormega's second solo album, The True Meaning, released in 2002. Very dope album. Definitely not as good as... Well, it's a good album, but the realness is not touching the realness, in my opinion. The realness, to me, definitely one of his best albums. Not to say this isn't good, but this is a good album, but the realness speaks volumes for me. Very dope album. Got songs like it's known for songs like The True Meaning, the self-titled, Live Your Life, Love In, Love Out, Built For This, what other song? Endangered Species, The Come Up, which was the singles. They have a video for it, very dope. Definitely recommend for QB hip hop. You like QB hip hop, you like Cormega, that Queen shit, this is definitely a dope album. If you like Nas and shit like that, you'll definitely enjoy that album. Then we got Cameron's second album, S.D.E, released in 2000. I spoke about this album last night when I did part 2, when I reviewed the S.D.E, the Confessions of Fire album. To me, this is his best album in my opinion. I do like Come Home With Me, which was dope. To me, Come Home With Me was the last good album Cameron put out. The other ones was kind of hit or miss, but Crime Pace was pretty dope. But anyways, getting back to this album, very dope album. Known for songs like That's Me, What Means the World to You, Let Me Know. What's the song? I think Double Up, if I'm not mistaken, is actually Joel Santana's first appearance on Wax, if I'm not mistaken. Overall, very good album. Sports Drug is Entertainment, which was my introduction to Cameron, believe it or not, the actual song. And then I was like, alright, let me check this dude out. And this dude is actually nice, very dope. Cameron in his prime, when he actually rhymed, not this computer putin bullshit that he's doing now, which he kind of stopped that, but I don't know, man. The shit that he's putting out with Vado and all those cats, not crazy about that, you know, whatever. Then we got Bounty Killer, The Art of War, released in 2002, the Ghetto Dictionary series, very dope album. Bounty Killer, you guys should know the deal on my dancehall heads. Bounty Killer, very dope, one of my favorite Jamaican DJs. That's what they call in Jamaica, artists, you know, but they call them DJs and shit. Very dope. If you like, you know, hip hop and reggae mixed together, fused together, you'll definitely enjoy this album. It definitely has like, I could see like maybe like a Swiss Beats type of like old school Swiss Beats type beats mixed in with dancehall. Then you'll like this album. Very dope. I really like that. Then we got this album right here, D.O.C. Generation EFX, released in 1998. Very dope album. To me, the last good album they put out. This album I feel like is okay. To me, it has a little bit too many fillers. And what I mean by fillers, maybe not commercial. Oh, I don't want to say commercial type tracks, but like they use like too much familiar breaks in my opinion on this album, and I feel like, you know, it wasn't like the other three albums, like where the first three albums where they use like not obscure tracks, but like, you know, obscure samples, but the sample choices back then were a lot better. Nowadays they try to use like you know, the more like, I guess like the old to like, you know, Rapper's Delight and, you know, shit like that, and not too crazy about that, but you know, overall very good album. I like it. Could have been better in my opinion. Got songs like Nocturnal, which is dope, Set It Off, No Doubt, which in my opinion is my favorite song of the album. The beat off that shit is crazy. Adolf, aka Agala, did his thing on this album, very dope. Check it out, you know, definitely pick it up if you're a D.O.C. fan. I already showed you guys that. Then we got My Xperience, released in 1996. Another dope album by Bounty Killer. My opinion, his best album. Trying to get more of his earlier albums, but them shits is very hard to come by. Very dope. Known for songs like Hip Hopera featuring the Fugees. Classic song. Change the Weather with Busta Rhymes. They have a video for that as well. Living Dangerously. I mean, you can't go wrong with this album. Marathon featuring Marathon to Chicago, very dope. What's the song? What's that song? Warface featuring Raekwon. That same beat was also used on Killer Army's album. I forgot the name of the song. I think it's called Warface, if I'm not mistaken. Very dope album. Definitely recommend for heads that likes hip hop mixed with dancehall. Definitely recommend that shit. Very dope. Then we got this album right here. Cipher 360. This is Canadian hip hop. Very dope. Boston / Canadian hip hop. Because I believe one of the artists is from Boston, but then they I guess migrated to Vancouver, and you know, this is considered like Canadian hip hop. But this is definitely a classic album. Very highly sought after. It's out of print. My introduction to them was they had a video called How It Go. I love that fucking song. That shit, I mean, definitely nighttime music, nighttime driving music, in my opinion. Like I said, that was my introduction to them back in 2002. when they just showed the Fuse channel, Much Music. For all my Canadian heads, you guys should know about that. When they just showed Rap City, where they showed like old school 90 videos, both US underground and Canadian underground from the 90s and like early 2000s, and that was my introduction to them. Very dope album. If you could find that shit, go pick it up. Then we got this album right here, Dr. Dre The Chronic, released in 1992. Definitely, you know, they put the battery. Somebody put the battery on his back. Put out this album, very dope. Known for songs like Nothing But a G Thing, Dre Day, where he disses Eazy-E, Bitches Ain't Shit. This is the OG, or not the OG. This is the 2001 re-release edition. They just re-released it, I believe, back in 08 or 09. And a couple other new tracks that that wasn't put on the original and stuff like that. But very dope album. I mean, Little Ghetto Boy, dope song. Rat-a-tat-tat, one of my favorite songs off the album. Bitches Ain't Shit. Definitely, if you like early 90s G-Funk hip-hop, you like Dr. Dre's early shit like I do, you'll definitely enjoy this album. Very dope. Definitely his best album in his discography. Then we got Cannibal, Cold Vein, released in 2001. Very highly sought after, classic album. Definitely some of LP's illest beats are on this album in my opinion. And I'm glad to hear that Cannibal is back together. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes, because I don't know, without LP beats, I don't know, man. Might not be as good as Cold Vein, but this album is definitely standing to the test of time. I mean, especially with sound, subject matter. I mean, he's known for songs like what's the songs? Vain, The F Word. The F Word, he talks about you know, girls, you know, putting dudes in the friend zone and shit like that. You know, definitely can relate to that shit. Painkillers, Pigeon, Raspberry Fields. I mean, you can't go wrong with this album. Very dope. If you can find it for a decent price, pick it up. Like I said, some of LP's illest beats are on this album. To me, definitely put LP out there like that. You know what I mean? Very dope. Then we got Lord Finesse's third album, The Awakening, released in 1995 or 1996. My favorite album from Lord Finesse. The beats are fucking dope. A lot of people consider this an EP because of the interludes. You know what I mean? That kind of like, I guess, takes over the album. Which is the only thing about the album is like the amount of interludes off the album. Was I kind of felt like some of the best beats were the interludes themselves. And I wish he made those into full songs, which would have been dope. But, you know, overall, definitely recommend checking this album out. Fucking love the beats off the album. Lord Finesse, the beats, oh my god. I wish he never got rid of his SP1200. Then we got the D.O.C, Helter, his second album, released in 1996. This is considered more of a horrorcore album. You guys should know D.O.C with No One Could Do It Better, but this is his second album. This is right after when he got into that horrible accident, and it's like his voice just sounds crazy. Like his voice, you know, because that accident really fucked up his throat, so it gave him a different sound, and then like his voice wasn't marketable like it used to be. So you know, Death Row kind of like, I guess, dropped him, and he just released it independently and stuff like that. And this is kind of like a semi-horrorcore feel to the album. It's definitely dark, very different from the first album. The beats definitely fit his voice and stuff like that. I mean, he had no choice because I mean, he couldn't rap over any other type of beats. But and if he did, it didn't sound very well. He sounded better over dark beats. But overall, it's an acquired taste. It's not his best album, but it's definitely worth having if you're a D.O.C fan and stuff like that. Next album, the classic, The Resurrection album by Common, released in 1994. This is his second album, like I mentioned before, because like I said, a lot of people think this is his first album, which I thought so as well. It's his second album. Can I Borrow $? His first album. Very dope album, classic. known for songs like I Used to Love Her, um, Resurrection, the self-titled album, the self-titled track. Um, the Lost Professor remix. Oh my god, whoo, crack, 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 crack. Um, very dope album. Songs like Communism. Like I said, I Used to Love Her. Um, Orange Pineapple Juice, Chapter 13. You know he has to have Pop's Rap. Pop's Rap, gotta have that. That's a trademark for Common. Very dope album, classic. Then we got Born Gangstaz, released in 1993. Very dope album. Definitely has like a West Coast vibe to it. Detroit meets West Coast, very dope. Got some dope songs. Known for songs like Deeper. I Don't Give a Fuck. For all my hip hop heads, if you notice, if you listen to the album, if you watch the movie Strapped, that one song that's like, I don't give a fuck, motherfucker. I don't give. That song when she just curses like a motherfucker, that's that song. I Don't Give a Fuck. It's from this album. Very dope. Living Loathed, which was a Living Loathed, Recipe of a Hole. Progress of Elimination, which was a single as well. Very dope album. Definitely recommend if you like gangster hip hop. Then we got Brand Nubian's second album, In God We Trust. Very dope album. In my opinion, their best album. This is when Grand Puba wasn't in the group. Grand Puba, he went to go release his Real to Real album that came out in 92, which I do have, which I'll show later on. Very dope album. I recommend checking this album out. It's known for songs like Punks Jump Up to Get Beat Down, Alua Akbar, which was a single, The Gods Must Be Crazy, Still Your Hole, Love Me or Leave Me Alone, which was a big song back in the day. Very dope album. Recommend checking it out. Definitely, Brand Nubian in their angriest, you know what I mean? In my opinion, very dope. Definitely check it out. Recommend it. Then we got M.O.P's second album, Firing Squad, released in 1996. Definitely, in my opinion, my favorite album out of the whole discography. That and probably, well, pretty much the first 4 albums are my favorite albums off the discography. Definitely their darkest album. It's known for songs like World Famous, Firing Squad, New Jack City, Stick to Your Guns. Cool's Rap killed that fucking song. Born to Kill. Dead and Gone, which was a single. Lifestyles of a Ghetto Child, which to me was like the standout track of the whole album. Shout out to Jazzo on that beat. Did his thing on that song. Dope sample too. I flipped that sample too before. Then we got Lloyd Banks, the Best of Lloyd Banks Part 1. Classic mixtape, fucking dope. Lloyd Banks in his prime. I mean, Lloyd Banks was on fire back in 03. I got this back in 03. Very dope. Definitely recommend it if you can find it. You could probably find it on Dat Piff or some shit. Then we got Outkast, Southern Playlist of Cadillac Music, released in 1994. This is their first album. Very dope album. In my opinion, very underrated because a lot of people, people know Outkast for like the ATLians, the Aquemini, and the Stankonia album, and the other albums they put out. But I feel like this album doesn't really get a lot of mention. Known for songs like the self-titled track, Get Up and Get Out. What other songs is known for? Players Ball. Me personally, I prefer the remix over the original. The original is dope. The original definitely sets the tone of the album, but something about the remix is dope. In fact, you can hear a little bit of the remix in the last song, Players Ball Reprise. It's just the instrumental version. If you go on YouTube, you can find the remix and stuff like that, and pretty dope. Definitely recommend. To me, this album, in my opinion, this and Goody Mob's Dirty South album put ATL in the map, in my opinion, and it kind of coined the term Dirty South, in my opinion, but it doesn't really get credit for that, you know what I mean? Pretty dope album. Then we got 50 Cent, The New Breed, the DVD. It's just a DVD just showing him back in 2003, just like showing him around the hood and stuff like that. You know, I just picked up just on the strength of me liking 50 Cent at the time and stuff like that. If you're a 50 Cent fan, definitely pick it up. You should get it for cheap now, cause you know, I saw it in stores for like as far as like $5, so $3-4. So then we got X-Rated, his first album, Psychoactive, released in 1992. This was the first and only album that he actually recorded in the studio, because the rest of the albums he recorded them in jail. You know, he recorded them like from a, I guess like a machine, like a recording machine. After this album, he got arrested for murder. He killed I guess like a rival gang member, and and this was the gun that he used for that murder, and that's what got him convicted. Plus the lyrics on the album and stuff like that. So he was what he did what he talked about in his rhymes. One of the few MCs that actually did what he said in the album. I mean, did on the songs and shit like that. Very dope. I guess you could call it horrorcore, but it definitely uses, like, you know, like I said before, like 24 Deep. It uses like you know, like funk records, funk samples, like familiar funk samples and stuff like that. And so I guess it's like gangster slash with horrorcore. But his later albums, I consider more horrorcore. I feel like this is more gangster if anything. But definitely a dope album. If you're a fan of early 90s West Coast hip hop, definitely pick it up if you can find it, because it's hard to come by. Then we got this album, Just D.I.C, the Desolate one, released in 1989. You guys should know Just D.I.C, MC from Brooklyn, New York, affiliated with known for his affiliation with KRS-One. Definitely considered one of the first one of the first gangster rappers in hip hop, but you know, he doesn't really get the credit. Known for songs like Latoya and shit like that. That came out back in 1986. Very dope album. Definitely very slept on. Just D.I.C as an MC. I'm trying to get more of his albums. His stuff is very hard to come by. I'm trying to get Gun Talk. Trying to get his Kill the Rhythm. I'm trying to get that album, but it's a very dope album. I definitely recommend checking that out. And that's it. Nah, I guess I can show you one more album. Then we got AZ's Do or Die, his first album released in 1995. What can I say? One of East New York's illest MCs. Very dope album. If you guys like Illmatic, then you'll definitely enjoy this album. To me, they're both in the same vein, but there's a little bit different than Illmatic, but you know, still has not the same vibe, but you know, you guys know what I'm trying to say. Known for songs like Gimme Yours, which was a single, dope Pete Rock beat. Rather Unique, which was a big song back then. Sugar Hill, which was like what put him out there, well, was like his biggest single off that album. More Money, More Homicide, which was a single. Your World Don't Stop. The remix is dope as fuck. Uncut Raw was probably like my favorite song off the album. Very, very dope album. Very dope. I've recommended it. If you like mid-90s hip-hop, definitely check this album out. Definitely a song that, you know, you could play if you have a nice car, like a Lexus or an Acura Legend or some shit, you pop this in. You know what I mean? Very dope. And that's it. Stay tuned for more. I'm gonna do one later on, record it, and that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed that review or my CD collection. Yes, I do have a lot more, like I said before. Hope you enjoy it. Peace.